Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this tutorial I am going to show you how we can create this random code generator app in React Native. So here in iPhone simulator we can see the app and we have a quotation here and we have this new code button. If we click on this new code, then a code is loading, then we are presented with a new code. And after this button we have some buttons and these buttons have some functionalities. So let's see the functionality of this button.
Imagination is not a talent of some men, but is the health of every man, by Ralph Waldo Emerson.
So this button has text to speech functionality, and when we click on this, then the quotation has been spoken by the computer. And then after that in Android we can see similar kind of thing, and we have a code, and if we click on new code, then it's loading and it is presented with a new code, right? And then we have this button at the middle which will copy the code. Okay, so this has been copied. Now we can use it anywhere. Let's see if it is been copied or not. Okay, let's do that here. So I'm pasting it and here we can see some text, and let's see, it is matching the text, so it has been copied. And then we have this Twitter button by which we can share the tweet. So it is being shared in the Twitter, and as the simulator is not have the Twitter app, it has opened it in the browser version of the Twitter. If it will have the Twitter app installed, then it will open the Twitter app. So these are the functionalities this app has. And I want to tell you another thing, that this text to speech function which you have seen here in the iOS simulator, that function is not working in Android. And I have done some research in internet, but I couldn't find any solution to it. I have seen that since Android version 11, this text to speech functionality has some update in Android, by which developers are having difficulties to incorporate this text to speech functionality in Android. So I was unable to add this feature to Android. If I get any solution to it, then I will let you know in the comment of this video, or if you guys have any solution to it, then also let me know by commenting down below. It will be helpful for me and the other viewers as well. So this is the app which we are going to build today in this tutorial. So if you are interested in this kind of tutorial, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post a new tutorial on this channel. So without wasting any more time, let's get started with the tutorial. Okay, so here I have created a new React Native project, and in this project I haven't added anything yet. I have only added this React Native vector icons package, as you can see in my package.json. Otherwise this I haven't added any other package yet, and I have already shown you how we can install this React Native vector icons in our React Native CLI project before many times in my tutorials. If you are new to my channel and haven't seen those previous tutorials, then also you don't need to worry about it, because I have created a YouTube short video specifically for this React Native vector icons. So you can check that out from my channel and go to the short section of the channel, and there you will find how to install this React Native vector icons tutorial video. So let's start with the app interface. First I am going to provide a background color here, and here I will provide this background color. Now after that, let's get rid of this thing and let's provide another view. And for this view, let's provide some style. First I will provide 90% width. For the background color I will use white color. Then I will provide border radius to it, which will be 20 pixel, and for the padding let's give 20 pixel as well. And within this I will now just provide a text. So this is the section in which we will have the main app interface. So here it will be quote of the day, and for this text I will provide text align center. Font size will be 26 pixel, and for font weight let's give it 600. Okay, here the 600 will be within the quotation. And for this text color I will have this dark color. and for the margin bottom let's provide 20 pixel. Now after this text we will have the actual quotation. Let me copy paste a quote here. Now after that let's style it. First I will provide a black color for this quote, and for the font size of it let's provide 16 pixel. For line height it will be 26 pixel. Then for the letter spacing I will provide 1.1. For font weight let's give it 400 value. Now it's looking good. Let's do some more styling of it. First the text align center and then margin bottom 10 pixel. Now save it. So it's looking good. Now after this quote let's create the button. Here I will use touchable opacity and it needs to be imported from React Native. And for on press of it, right now I will have this blank function. For the text of it, it will have this new quote text. Let's provide the style of it. It will have a background color same as this background color, so I have copied it and pasted it here. Let's provide padding and some border radius here. And for this one I will use margin vertical, that means at the top and the bottom, and it will be 20 pixel. Now for this text, first I will provide white background color. Font size of it will be 18 and text align will be center. Now after this quote text, here we will have the author name. So after this text let's provide another text, and here we will have the author name. So right now I have just provided the author name like this. Let's style this one, and for the text align of it, it will be right align. For the font weight I will use 300 value and it will be italic styled. For the font size of it I will use 16, and let's provide the color of it, which will be the black color. Now save it. So this is how it's looking right now. Now after this, for this quote we will have the quotation mark, and that will be at the beginning and at the end of this quote. So it will be double quote icon, and for that I will use this font awesome 5 vector icons. So here it will be font awesome 5. Name of the icon is quote left. For the style of it, it will be font size 20, and for the color of it I will use black color. Now after saving it, here we can see it is at the top of this text, and similarly let's copy this and use it here, and this time it will be quote right, and for this let's align it to the right side. It has been positioned at the right. Now I want to position these two things little bit different. Right now it seems like it is in different line. I want to push it down so that it will look like it is wrapping this text, and for that first I need to provide some padding horizontal, that means left and right of this quote text, and it will be 30 pixel. Now after this padding we have some gap here, and if we push it little down then it will look like these are in the same line, right? And for that, for this quotation mark I will provide margin bottom -12. Now it is within this line, right? Similarly for this quotation mark I need to position this little bit up, and I can do that by providing margin top -20. So now it has been positioned properly, but now let's provide some gap in between these two components, and for that let's provide margin bottom 20 here. Now after this button we have 3 more buttons. Now let's create those. So after this touchable opacity we will have a view, and for this view style let's provide flex direction row, and after that within this view we will have the touchable opacity for the button, and we will have the icons for the button, not the text, and the icon will be font awesome. So here for the vector icons we have font awesome and font awesome 5. So previously I have used font awesome 5, and right now I will use font awesome. And for the first icon it will be volume up. The size of it will be 22, and for the color of it I will use this color. Now let's provide a blank function as of now for this on press, and for the style of it will be a circle. So first I will provide border width 2 pixel, then a border color which will be the same as this color. For the border radius I will use 50. For padding I will provide 15. Now save it and it's looking good. Now copy this touchable opacity 2 more times. This one will be Twitter, and for the middle one it will be font awesome 5 and the name of it will be copy. Let's position this properly. It's in the same row but then it's to align properly, and that I can do by providing justify content space around. So now it's looking good. And now we have one more thing left, which is the status bar. I want to change the color of this text and these icons here, and that I can do by providing this status bar style light content. So now this has been changed. As we are done with the interface of the app, now we will focus into the functionality of the app. And for that, first we need to go to this GitHub library for random quotation. So here we can see we can get random quote like this. We can try it in browser. So here is the output of this API, and we can get the content, that means the quote and the author, and along with it we can get some other information as well which we don't require. So we can use this URL to request new quotation. If I refresh this, then we are presented with a new quote. So like this, every time we will call this, we will have a new quote. So here let's create a function called random quote, and by using fetch function I will fetch the API response. Now we need to get the JSON of it, and then we can get the result from the response, and let's console log the result, and let's use this function for this new code button. Now save it. Now after that, let's click on this new code button. So here in the log we can see the output, and here we can see the author slug content which we were seeing here, right? So we are getting the response and the code will be the content of the result. So here if we output the result content, then we will see the code only. Okay. Now we need to use this one, and for this let's create some states. First we will have the quote, and don't forget to import it from React. After the quote we will have author as well. Now after fetching it, we can use the set quote to update our code. Here it will be result.content, and similarly we will have set author as well. This time it will be author, this one, right? Now after this we need to use those things. So instead of this hard-coded code, I will use this code from state, and instead of this author name we can use author state. Now save it, and after saving it, here we can see we have blank. After clicking on this button we will have some code, and here we can see that, but it is not good that we are not seeing anything without clicking on this button. For that we need to get help from another React hook which is called use effect, and we can use this one here to simply call this function when all the component first renders in our app. Now save it. Now after saving it, here we can see without clicking on this button we have a code, right? And also I can see another problem here. If I reload this app, then here you can see for some time we don't have any text there. It seems like the text is being appearing from nowhere, and initially app is not doing anything, but it is actually fetching the data from the API, and that is why it is taking some time. We need to display some indicator for it, and I can do that by providing a initial value to this state of this loading text, and similarly for this author as well. Now save it. So here we can see loading text, and after that when we have the data from the API, then it will be replaced with the response of the API. So now it is much more better user experience in my opinion. And similarly, if we click on new code, that time this new code is not appearing instantly. It takes some time, and in that time also we need to display some indicator of that. That also we can do by creating another state called isLoading, and we can update it by setIsLoading, and by default I will provide false value to it. And when this random code function will be triggered, that time first I will set this isLoading state to true, and after it finished fetching the data I will update it to false. And now I can use this isLoading state here to check whether it is true or false. If it is true, that means it is loading. That time I want to display this loading text, and otherwise I will display this new code text. After saving it, already you have seen that loading text here. Now let's do it manually. After clicking it, we can see loading text for a fraction of second here. And also I want to change the color of this button to inactive color of the button. That means some opacity to it. That's why I will use RGB equivalent of this hex value, and that is this one. So if isLoading is true, then we will use this value with 0.7 opacity, and if isLoading is not set to true, that time we will have the solid color, which is this color, and this time it will be opacity value 1. Now save it. So now let's do it again. So while it's loading, that time we can see that it has some transparent color, which is kind of looking like this button is inactive for that moment. So this functionality is working perfectly fine. Now we need to focus on this part. So for this button we need to use this package, this React Native TTS, that means text to speech package, and we can install it by using this command. Okay, now we need to do pod install, and we can do it by this npx pod install command. So it has been done. Now let's close this Metro Bundler UI process and rebuild our app. Okay, so it has been rebuilt. Now I can comment out this console log. Now after that, let's see how we can use this. So we can use this by importing it, and then here we can see the documentation how we can use this text to speech functionality. So within this speak function we need to provide the text and it will do the job, and along with this we can do some customization like this language, rate, pitch. We can set these values. So here I am going to do some. I will set default language ENGB, so that means it's British language. Then we can set default voice, and for the voice here we can see that's how we can set the voice. For default rate I will provide 0.5 value. Here they are showing 0.6, but I have seen it seems not natural with 0.6 and pitch 1.5 value. So I will use my custom pitch as well. It will be 1.2, and then here I will create a function called speak now, and for this function I will provide the speak functionality, and it needs to speak this code. And now let's use this function for this button. Now save it. Now let's click on this button.
There are 3 methods to gaining wisdom. The first is reflection, which is the highest. The second is limitation, which is the easiest. The third is experience, which is the bitterest. Okay, so it's working. Now along with this I want to provide the author name as well, and that I can do.
by doing this. So first we have the code text from this code state, then I'm adding this custom text by, and then we have the author state. Now save it. Now let's hear it again.
In a controversy, the instant we feel anger, we have already ceased striving for the truth and have begun striving for ourselves by Buddha.
So it's working well. Now I want to provide stop functionality first. When we will click on this button, first it will stop. If it is speaking something, it will stop and then it will speak again. Otherwise, right now,
In a controversy, the instant we feel anger,
if we
have
click
already
here,
ceased striving
then
for
it
the
is
truth
not
and begun
stopping.
striving by
It is
Buddha.
continuing
In a
this
controversy,
speak.
the instant we feel
Okay.
anger, we have already
And
ceased
then it is
striving for the
continuing.
truth.
Now let's save it.
In a controversy, the instant we feel anger, we have already ceased striving for the truth and have begun striving for ourselves by Buddha. In a controversy, the instant
Okay.
we feel anger, we have
Now
already
let's
ceased
stop it.
striving. There is no distinction of east and west. People create distinctions out of their own minds and then believe them to be true by Buddha.
So you got the point, right? When we will click on here, if we don't stop it first, then it will speak it and then it will continue to speak that many times how much we have clicked on this button. So it is safe to first stop the speak, then we can do the speak functionality. Now test it once.
In the sky, there is no distinction of east and in the sky, there is no distinction in the sky, there is no distinction of east and west. People create distinctions out of their own minds and then believe them to be true by Buddha.
Okay, so now as you can see, I can click this button as many times as I want, but it will not speak that many times. It will stop and start over again. Now along with this, here we can see some warning, and also I want to provide some functionality here. When it is speaking the text, that time I want to change the color of the button, and that I can do by event listener. And this package is providing some event listener, like when it is getting started and when it is finished, that type of events, and we can use that to provide a custom user experience. So here within this add event listener, we have this TTS start event, and for this event we can update our state, and that state I can create from here, which is speaking, and let's update that set is speaking to true, and by default it is false, and when it is started speaking, that time we have set it to true, and when it will finish I will set it to false. And by using this state I can provide a different color here. So while it is speaking, that time I want to provide this background color, otherwise it will be a white color. And similarly for the icon color as well, if is speaking is true, that time it will be white color, otherwise normally it will have this color. Now save it. Now let's click on this button once.
I never considered a difference of opinion in politics, in religion, in philosophy, as cause for withdrawing from a friend by Thomas Jefferson.
Okay, it will be the background color. Let's try it last time.
Better be ignorant of a matter than have know it by Publius Syrus.
Okay, so it's working good. Now after that we have this copy functionality and this Twitter. And for the copy functionality we need to use this Clipboard package, and we can install the package by using this command. Let me copy paste it here and hit enter. Now along with this I want to provide some visual feedback to the screen, and that I can do by using this React Native Snackbar package, which will give feedback like this. So let me install it first. After installing we need to do pod install, and this pod install is for the iOS only, it is not for the Android. If you are only developing it for Android, you don't need to do this pod install. Now after that let's close this Metro Bundler UI process and rebuild our app. And whenever we will add a new third-party package, that time it is safe to rebuild our app and then use the package. Okay, so it has been built. Now after this speak now function, let's create another function called copy to clipboard, and here we will use this clipboard package first. So first we need to import it, and along with this we need to import this snackbar as well. Now after this, to copy text we need to use this function clipboard.setString, and here will be the string, and the string for our app will be this quote. And after it has been copied, I want to display the snackbar feedback, and that I can do by this code. So here I have provided this quote copied text. Now I need to use this function for this copy button. Now save it. Now after that, let's click on this button. So here we can see the visual response, and now if I go to any other app, so here let's paste the text. So it is the text which have been copied, right? So this is the quotation which we have copied. So this copy functionality is working perfectly well. Now we are left only with this tweet functionality, and that we can do by creating another function which will be named as tweet now. And here let me configure a URL. By using this URL we can share a tweet, and for this text value we need to provide the text which is the quote. Now we need to open this URL, and we can do that by calling this linking API from React Native. So it will be linking.openURL, and here we can use the URL which we have created. Now call this tweet now function from this button, this tweet button. Okay. So now after saving it, we can click on this button, and it is opening the Twitter, and here we can see this code is showing in the Twitter app. Right now the Twitter app is not installed in the simulator, so it has opened the browser. If the device have the Twitter app opened, then it will open the Twitter. So it's working perfectly well. So here you can see our app is completed. So this is the tutorial, guys. I hope you have learned something new from this tutorial. If you do so, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this, and let me know by commenting down below. If you have any kind of suggestion for me, then also let me know. And don't forget to share this tutorial with your friends and colleagues. And I will see you guys in my next tutorial. In the meantime, have a great day. Goodbye.